So let's go ahead and dive into the code. I'm going to hold Alt with my thumb and I'm going to press F11 key with my middle finger and bring up the Visual Basic editor. And here's where we're going to do our coding. So with the Visual Basic editor open, I'm going to go ahead and click on this little drop down right here that says module and click on module. Now we can use the module container to contain some code for us. If you don't have the VBA project window open or the module properties window open, you can access them by going to the View tab and clicking on the properties window, which is F4, which brings this up. And also you can go to the View tab and go to the Project Explorer, Control R, and that will bring the Explorer up. So I'm going to double click on module 1. Let's go here and we're going to enter our first macro, which involves the array. So I'm going to type sub for sub procedure, space, and we'll just give this a name. We'll just call it test1 and hit enter. Let's hit enter a few times to give ourselves some space. But anyway, let's go ahead and type in how we would normally do it with variables, if you're familiar with variables. Let's say we needed an employee table, but we're just going to use a few variables. Here's the old way that you'd have to do this. So my employee 1 equals Joe and my emp 2 equals the text Dan. These are our two employees. And so if we hit F8 on the keyboard, we'll begin to step through our code. We'll begin to debug through and step through. So let's hit F8. And when I hit F8, the first one variable, my emp 1 equals Joe, and the second one equals Dan. Now, imagine you had 50 or 1,000 of those, and you wanted to contain them all in variables. Well, that's going to be messy. And so this is where arrays come in. So I'm going to type in, instead of this, let's comment that out so we can still see it in a moment. Comment block. And if you don't have the comment block button, you can go to the View tab here and go to Toolbars, and you can click on Debug or Edit, and you can get all these extra toolbars up there in your menu. But I went ahead and commented that out. I'm going to show you how to trap both Joe and Dan in one single variable, which is called an array. Here's how we do it. First, we're going to go ahead and declare that, hey, my employees or my emps is going to be just from 1 to 2. I only have 2 employees currently. So we're going to go ahead and declare that so it knows, hey, this is not a normal variable. It has subscript. Everything here is called subscript. So we're explicitly telling it that we're having 2 results from 1 to 2. Now we're going to go ahead and populate them. So the first one is pretty easy. My employees number 1 equals, you guessed it, Joe. And we'll copy and paste that. Control C, Control V. And number 2 is going to be Dan. So, and then of course, obviously to save space, we can do this in a loop and we can store things in the worksheets as well. But let's go ahead and backtrack our macro, which we never finished out. Let's go ahead here and hit F8. So my employees number 1, subscript 1 equals Joe, and number 2 equals Dan. Before this macro ends, I'm not going to finish it. I want to show you what that looks like in Excel's internal memory. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and open up the watch window, and let's open up the locals window. Let me close my immediate window here. This is called the locals window, and it's always watching current variables. So we have my emp 1 was Joe before we commented it out, and this one is still Dan, and it's a variant string. Now this one is a variant 1 to 2, so we know that's an array. And we can go ahead and expand my emps. So let's expand it by clicking on that plus sign. So now we see my emps 1 has the value of Joe, and my emps 2 has the value of Dan. But it's all contained within one variable name or one array name, my emps. All right, in the next video, we're going to talk more about array declaration and different things that we can do with that.